Hello and welcome to MotoGP Mac, where MotoGP fans congregate and fanboys fear to tread. Hello, it's
How are you
freezing
doing, Horst?
cold today. There ain't no ride today. I don't care how tough you are.
Yeah, go away, old laugh. Put you the big girl's blouse. The
Oh
bike is
yeah.
ready to. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
I used to go. I used to ride all winter. All winter.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not winter yet, technically.
Yeah. The coldest I went was it was -10. That was the coldest I ever was in.
Oh
That
well.
it was rough.
Yeah. That's just normal standard Irish weather there, Jake.
The -10.
Cold, wet,
Fahrenheit,
and
by the way, folks.
miserable. Yeah.
Fahrenheit. Yeah.
Yeah. Cold, wet, and miserable. That's just the standard Irish way of riding a motorbike. But anyway, yeah. So look, this is our first one of 2025. We kind of missed last week. Oops. But anyway, we
That's the first one we ever missed. Then we have a break after 3 years.
yeah, that's it. It's been three years, and it was actually I was looking. YouTube gave me a kind of one of those fucking memory things, and it's kind of funny. It was just kind of blown away when you kind of think of the community that's been created just by fucking Egypt, just wanting to talk about MotoGP. So look, it's been epic, very rewarding, very trying. But look again. I'm just going to keep doing what I have been doing, and I just wanted to just say thank you to every single one that subscribes. It means a lot. There's nothing in a.
We have good members. I mean, I can assure you, we have the best members out there.
We do. Yeah, we have great members, and look, like the best part of it is when we all don't agree. Do you know what I mean? And while it, not saying respectfully disagree, but like open debate, and that's I suppose that's what the channel was always about. It's like I was a Rossi fan, my best buddy was a Marc Marquez fan. Never did we have a chat about MotoGP where it didn't develop into a respectful argument with each other about who was better.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And that's what the spirit of it is about. And look, I'm hoping to continue it on. And look, it does make things hard, all right, when you see these channels coming in and doing what they do with the
Bullshit.
yeah, and look, it is kind of disheartening then when you see people that should have better common sense quoting what they're saying, and you're going, "Are you for fucking real?" Like, do you know what I mean?
You see, Jorge Lorenzo's coming back, right? Jorge Lorenzo's back on the side, and then that's from 4 years ago.
Yeah. But look, it is one of those things. But look, I just want to be thankful for everyone that does subscribe and does watch and have all those notifications and bells and whistles and all of that on. Look, it does mean a lot, and does make me proud when a video does do well. Do you know what I mean? Because I know what tomorrow's video. Sorry, I know what yesterday's video, because we're filming this on the Saturday, so I know what Sunday's video is. But I think what people don't really understand is I have yet no idea what Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday's video is going to be.
Yeah,
I don't. And I sit down and I read news articles from legitimate sources. I also have sources myself now, and I give my opinion on it, and I mix and match, and I put two and two together to try and understand. So it's not planned out. It's not like, oh, I know what I want to talk about next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I will decide Monday afternoon or Monday evening what Tuesday's video is going to be, and that's the way I've wanted to keep the channel. It's been very easy for me. I've been approached numerous times by editors and content creators and saying, listen, you have the knowledge, you have the voice, you have the English, all of this. We have the video making skills. Let's sit down and plan out and make your channel a professional channel. And to be very fucking honest, I'm not interested in making it very professional or this, that, and the other, because again, the ethos of this channel always was to be two people sitting down in the pub watching a MotoGP race, having arguments about it. Like, Jesus, that was a great save. No, that wasn't a fucking great save because I don't like him. Do you know what I mean? So, like, no matter what he could do, like, what he does is brilliant. I don't like him, so and that's just
that rules a bunch of shit. Yeah.
yeah. Do you know what I mean? And that's the way it is, and that's the way I want to keep it as well. I don't want.
You gotta have it changed.
I just want to keep it as informal as what it is, and short, sharp things. You know, look, I love listening to other people. Like, I do watch Formula One ones, like do like F1 reverse, and those types. You know, but saying that, I am not a long content kind of guy. You know what I mean? They're normally 10 or 15-minute videos and gone after 5 or 6 minutes. I'm like, all right, okay, next. And you know what I mean? So, but look, that's kind of the way it is. And look, I just want to say that I'm pretty thankful to everyone. And you know, 2025, it's going to be a big one. Hopefully, you know, that you know, last year we put on 2,000 subscribers. Hopefully this year we can do the same. Yep. And over the course of the years, build it up into a big, wide community. And then when I'm too old to do it, then we find someone that can take over the channel. That is what it is. Not sell the channel, not do anything with the channel. Yeah. Get someone to just take it over and start giving it the love it deserves. Anyway, KTM. So KTM's, I'm hearing KTM is gone for 26. Gone. Out of MotoGP. Completely gone. So 2025 is a year to wrap things up, get back onto a better financial footing.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense to me. It doesn't really, but it kind of makes sense to me. Look, like 25, 26, there's not going to be an expensive development thing done, right? So I think they're okay for 25, 26. I've heard, like, from reliable sources that it's like the end of 25, they're not going to take part in 26, which I don't think is. I can see it and I can understand it, but I'm just more so, I'm not sure, because they're probably not going to be back in a really sure-footed financial situation by the end of 2025. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And if they pull from MotoGP and motorsport, like what they're saying, I think that could cause them to actually implode further. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know.
Suzuki lost 30% when they dropped, but they dropped instantly though. They came out as a shock. Oh, gone. Well, by the way, we're showing now tomorrow. So everybody.
I'm more worried about 2027 for them, right? I don't think they're going to be able to develop towards 2027. So I think it's the end of.
Bad. You're bad news. I felt it in my bones.
End of 2026, I think they'll pull the plug. I don't think they'll pull it for 2026. Do you know what I mean? I think they'll use it. But like, Pit Buyer did come out and say, you know, it was a big squeaky bum moment, you know, just before Christmas. Do you know what I mean? Where it was all or nothing, and like they did it in a very smart way, Jay. When they went into self-examinership or whatever you want to call it, right? By doing self-examinership, they were able to keep the board intact. So whoever were the decision makers already, right? So those people were already convinced that MotoGP, track racing was the way to go. And so that only meant that they needed to convince whoever was coming in to help it. But realistically, it was going to be a board decision. Do you know what I mean? And they were like, even if the inspectors were like, no, motorsport needs to go, the board were like, no, motorsport's not going. Do you know what I mean? That's a board decision. It's not going. Do you know what I mean? You need to tell us somewhere else where we can take it from. So, but it's not going to be going from there. But saying that, look, the situation is still far from resolved. I think, what is it, February? The end of February is going to be a big time for them, because that's when they come out of the protection or the protective base, where creditors and all of that will be able to start doing things if deals aren't done, which normally deals are done within that time. But it will be interesting for them. Dorna, the takeover of Dorna has been pushed out till the 30th of June 2025 instead of. So again, as I mentioned in the last podcast that we had, the EU are pushing back a small bit on the monopoly of the whole thing. Whether it's right or whether it's wrong, I still don't know. All I do know is it will keep Old Man Dorna involved a little bit longer than probably expected. I know Dorna still will retain 14% of the ownership of MotoGP and that, but and I know Old Man Dorna was contracted to stay in the position, but that was my understanding is that is only a short-term contract while the acquisition and all of this goes through, and then 6 months or 8 months after that, then he's out the fucking door and replaced with a Liberty Media guy, which was what they did in Formula One. So it is interesting to see. They didn't really run into this with the acquisition of Formula One because they didn't have MotoGP or anything like that in there, if that makes sense. So, so look, that's been a little bit delayed, a little bit more. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I still don't really know.
I'm hoping that it'll I'm hoping it'll hold up them rules and postpone them at least.
No.
Hey, you got Honda in trouble now too, so maybe they don't want to take the extra cost either.
Yeah, well, I don't think Honda are in trouble, right? I think
that's not good. That's not a good thing. When I sit there and I got a company sitting there going as a thing going, the CEO had a tough time justifying the merger with both companies suffering, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I somehow suffering company coming in Mitsubishi a month later.
Yeah. Well, like it is the three, so it's Honda, Nissan, and Mitsubishi all joining into one. I would sincerely hazard a very, very good educated guess that it's actually Honda is acquiring them, but to save face, the Japanese are saying that it's a merger.
Yes, because it's a leverage buyout. Nissan's a hell of a lot bigger than Honda.
It is, yeah. But it's also known to get itself into financial difficulties
it's
over
been in
and over
for
again.
A long time now, yeah.
So I think this is a Chinese. You see, because when you look at what's going on in the whole car bike market, like VW is fucking hemorrhaging money. Like, I mean, hemorrhaging money big time. Do you know what I mean? And like, they can take down the likes, they could take down like multiple car brands, for example. Audi as well, hemorrhaging money. It's a little bit freaky when you look at it. Like, these are like multi-billion-dollar businesses that, from what we've seen when these things go bang, like, it just like takes down thousands upon thousands of jobs, people.
Everybody had remember I was saying, what's the worst thing to have in the non-sales? It's overproductions. Everybody went, we're going to sell 20 million more next year, and all of a sudden they build up for it, and then guess what? Didn't happen.
Yeah. Look, it's one of those things. It's one of those things that, like, the world got a little bit crazy there when they thought, the amount of money around. Like, my friend is in car sales, right? Mm-hmm. And he said to me, the amount of money that is around is actually scary. He's like, there is so much money around, but then you see, it's like you go with EVs, right? A basic standard average run of the mill. I know now there's real cheap ones, right? But they're 40-50 grand, right? You have to be in a certain part of life to buy one of those, right?
Yeah.
And then, you have those people that are in that certain part of life, right? Having a fucking clue of technology. And then they get into the super fucking technological car that has fucking this and that and the other. And they don't know. They don't get it. And then, like, I see it every day. Like, I see a fella spending 150 grand on on a Porsche, right? And I might be going past fixing a charger or this, that, and the other, and I'd be like, "Oh, do you know your car can do this, 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 and this?" And he's like, "No." Do you know what I mean? You've just spent 150 grand, huh?
Yeah.
So look, there's a lot of that going on. Like,
I gotta admit, I'm old. I'm the same. I got all this. I my Ducatis and all that, and they got all this electronic shit on the
yeah,
bikes.
but you've never gone through those menus. You never fucking understood. Actually, no need to. And it's just those technologies, and like when those cars and stuff, when those car manufacturers start failing, it's actually fucking frightening. One of the things I'm really looking forward to seeing is the new Honda sponsorship, which apparently is going to be Castrol.
Yeah.
But I'm actually
new sponsorship. They're not going to go into the factory sponsors. I say they are.
Yeah. So I'm actually
Red Bull going into the Red Bull staying, and it's going into the subcontracted bikes, the satellite bikes.
Satellite Red Bull. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Well, excuse me, I definitely could be wrong, but I read that Red Bull was going back into Honda with the satellite bikes.
I didn't hear that, but look, I think Red Bull are kind of in bed with the two KTMs, really. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, look, they've lost Mark, so I'm not sure whether they're going to be on any other bikes really other than the KTMs, especially if they're pumping a few extra million into running of the KTM bikes this season. But saying that, we've lost obviously the Repsol from the Honda bikes, which is kind of an end of an era. Do you know what I mean? Really, do you know what I mean? But saying that, I can't wait to see another iconic brand like Castrol. Like, anyone remembers the days of Colin Edwards in World Superbikes on the Castrol Honda, and Aaron Slight and all of those beautiful liveries. So hopefully they'll come up with something cool, not fucking stupid. And
you can see Castrol being a great advertisement for a motorcycle because people would buy it. That's a direct link to buy and sell, winning and buying.
Yeah. And look, it's kind of funny.
I mean, Repsol sells oil also, right?
They do, yeah. They're
a gas station now, aren't they?
Huh?
Their main sales was gasoline, isn't it?
Yeah. It is. It's one of their main Repsol. Yeah. They're like a petrol station, really.
Yeah, really, yeah.
They assume a lot in Spain, Spanish one. What else was I going to say? Pooch. Like, I was sitting down and I did the video the other day about Pooch, and I was kind of thinking to myself, like, after the video, is like, because like there were an awful lot of comments and like, how is Pooch still in the job? How is he doing this? And then there was a question of like, who would you replace Pooch with? Like firstly, like Pooch doesn't engineer the bike, right? He has nothing to do with the engineering of the bike. But what Pooch is very good with is Pooch is very good with rolling with the punches.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Exactly. And I
he's
always
a great mouthpiece for the higher up.
So it's kind of like going to myself, like, who would you replace him with? Like, because like if you look at Pooch, for example, right? Like I always tell the story of a Ferrari Formula One engine blowing itself to bits right in front of my eyes. V10 screaming, blew up, right? You could see bits of fucking conrod and piston and engine casing bouncing down the road after the car, right? And I read the press release, and then I watched the video of the press release of your man, and he was like, "Oh, it was electronic failure." It was no more fucking electronic failure, my fucking arse. Like, but the guy that was doing it, even he was convinced it was electronic failure because that's what he was told. He didn't look at the screen. He didn't look at the facts or anything. He's like, yes, it was electronic failure. And I remember like a reporter, Dieter Racken, and asked, and he's like, I don't think it was. He's like, it was engine failure, not electronic failure. He's like, I think you're messing up your E's. And he's like, no, electronic. And like it was just funny to watch. But I think Pooch is kind of the same. It's like,
oh my God, you remember when Marquez flew off this famous high side?
Yeah.
In the Honda?
Yeah.
He comes over, whatchamacallit comes over to Poog, and he's like, what problem? You're having a handling problem. What handling problem? It's not a handling problem. There's no handling problems.
It's a flying problem with an impact. But again, like, and to be fair, I've struggled in the last few days trying to think of someone that could do Pooch's job as well as Pooch does it. Like he's clearly not in control of any of the electro engineering, this, that, and the other, right? He's more of a face of it.
Yeah, like I said, he's a mouthpiece of the board.
Yeah, he's just like, I call him the distraction. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, your pace is
the board is going to need a good mouthpiece when you might not think it's a big deal, but let me tell you, when Honda has heat on them because of this Nissan deal, it's going to affect MotoGP. You can bet your sweet ass it is.
Well, yeah. Well, look, like everything now is going, like with a merger, everyone is going to be watched. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So of course, it's going to be something for him. Nakagami,
it's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? It's like a preemptive death. They're like, I don't know what they're doing here. You know.
I actually just think it's an excuse for the Japanese government to bail people out. Do you know what I mean? Without losing any face or doing anything. For example, they could have gone to Honda and said, "Listen, look, we'll pay you $3 billion if you acquire them for $500 million, but put money into them to keep them afloat." Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Or there is some sort of deal, like the Chinese and the Japanese are very, very, very similar in saving face. Do you know what I mean? They like the Italians, like for example, and it's very clear in engineering purposes as well. The Italians, a swing arm breaks in half, and they say, well, we made it a little bit too weak. Do you know what I mean? Where the Japanese would like have steel girders out the back just in case that ever might happen, that it would break. Do you know what I mean? So they wouldn't like to be admitting that they made it too weak and stuff. Nakagami, I was reading a thing about him actually during the week, and he was saying he's now in the process of switching from a race rider mentality to an engineering rider mentality.
Oh, that's yeah, okay.
And I'm like, that's not exactly what fucking Honda need. Like, do you know what I mean? They need someone that's a race rider mentality to say, I can do one fast lap, but I can't do fucking 10. Do you know what I mean? So, but look, again, like it must be a difficult thing for him. Let's just call it to be.
Well, what they're saying, by the way, is the Chinese are all over the Japanese. They gave them more. They're specifically targeting the Japanese vehicles and motorcycles and cars.
Mm-hmm.
And they're coming at them like in gangbusters. If you look at the products, yes, they are coming at them with gangbusters.
Yeah. I'm looking
at a 2000cc Goldwing copy now.
Yeah, but they look. The Chinese have always been amazing at copying things. Like I spent time in Beijing, right, and I saw Rolls Royces that weren't Rolls Royces. I saw Range Rovers that weren't Range Rovers. Look, they looked exactly like them, but they weren't them. And like obviously, I have a lot of knowledge of EVs and stuff as well, right? And the stuff that they're making over there, and being shipped over here. Like you look at it, like the tariffs on on Chinese EVs coming into the EU now, right? Because what has transpired is that the Chinese government are funding these car makers big time.
Yes.
To do it, and it's the same. It's for Honda with the motorbikes and all of this. It's the government that are going to think, and it's the Chinese are after the bread and butter bikes that the Japanese Honda are doing, and that's their real danger.
Yeah, and they've been slacking on their bread and butter bikes because who's else coming after them? Like Triumph's coming after them. Okay. Things that some of the Euro brands are coming after them too, and they're just making better products than the Japanese.
Yeah. And look, it's sometimes the Japanese have their head looking the other way.
They got that. That's what it is.
Yeah. The other thing actually I'm looking forward to next year is Digi. Like I know people don't really rate Fabio Di Giannantonio, but I genuinely do, right? And I would find it very interesting to see how he hangs against Pecco and Mark next year.
Really?
And I think he has no excuses. Do you know what I mean? There will be no excuses next year. Now, saying that, okay, we know Martin would not accept anything other than the factory bike. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we know Mark wouldn't accept anything other than the factory bike. And Ducati were going to throw Pecco out of the thing, right? So they were always going to lose one. But when you look at the caliber of riders there, Marco Bezzecchi had a pig of a year, absolute fucking pig of a year. Alex Marquez did okay. Do you know what I mean? Franco Morbidelli,
for him, he did great.
He did great, but he didn't deserve a factory bike.
No, he did not. No, I don't know what he does. But that guy he's the 9 lines of riders.
So when you're looking at it, out of the other besides Martin and Pecco, who would you have given that ride to? Who showed the most potential, right? Bezzecchi did want a factory ride, and again, so he's there because he's the best of the rest. Do you know what I mean? And now can he take that step forward? And I do think it was very, very interesting. And someone said it in the comments of the thing, that he had only a few good races and this, that, and the other. But the way I would put that is very similar to Marc Marquez winning races on a GP23 versus a 24. And when Fabio Di Giannantonio won his races late in the season on the 22 versus Pecco on the 23, which was a very much so sorted 2023 bike. It wasn't start of the year where he got some shots on him. Do you know what I mean? It was towards the end of the season when Pecco was battling for the championship, but also had a very, very sorted bike. So he was on the 23B, which never appeared fully last season. So I do find it I do believe the talent is there. It would just be interesting to see how exactly he will do, because a lot of people don't rate him. I rate him fairly highly, but then saying that
he has flash in the pan speed. You know what I mean? He's on or off.
He is, yeah. He's a little bit like Bastianini, to be fair. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry. I had great hopes for Bastianini in the beginning.
I did too. I genuinely thought Bastianini would fly at it, and I was actually kind of nervous for Pecco because I thought, this fella doesn't give a fuck really. He does not care.
Yes.
But anyway, look.
He's not that bright, so he doesn't understand politics or what he's supposed to do or not supposed to do. He's like Jethro from the Beverly Hillbillies on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
I know, Paul. I went fast.
I went fast. I go fast. I go left. I go right, Paul. Yeah. But look, I think it's like next season. I think like there's a whole debate that I've seen going on between Pecco and Marquez, and Marquez has said, Pecco's number one, and Pecco said, there's no number one, and
I think that's all hype bullshit.
I do think so too. I think both riders believe they're number one.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I mean? And I will be watching to see how quickly that wall is built, and like Pecco gets something, and I think it will be all right the first 2 or 3 times that Pecco gets something by Mark. But if Mark is ahead in the championship, Mark will be like, well, I want them. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's when how we say in Ireland, that's how the argument started. Do you know what I mean? But look, it will be very interesting to see.
I don't think Gigi will allow it. He's not going to allow a wall. He's going to say no. Everybody gets this is a plan we've always had. It's always worked. Yeah. We're going to have everybody has access to all the material we come in with, and that's it.
I would agree with you, right? But I have a sneaky suspicion now that Gigi could be a bit of a Marquez fanboy. Do you know what I mean?
Like, you think so?
I think so, because one of the things I was thinking about recently was, Ducati have abandoned their whole strategy of going racing, right?
No,
they have though. Like, they were all young riders, not paying people much, and then they brought Marquez in. I don't think he's on 10 million. But I don't think he's on less than 6, which is probably more than they would have paid any Bastianini or Pecco last season. Now, this season is different for his new contracts. I know that, but I just think it's just a little bit different for me in the way that they've brought in a finished talent rather than a raw talent. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but it's a unique raw. It's a unique talent. Don't forget, with the background that he has.
It is, but
it has unique worth to it. I mean, the marketing worth is worth a couple million right there.
Oh, it is. Look, there's a business decision behind it as well. But I think I firmly believe nothing happens in Ducati without Gigi's okay, right? And if Gigi chooses that he wants to work with this person, that's what happens.
Yeah, because you remember everybody said I was nuts. I said no, they're going to pick Marquez. No, they're not. I'm just telling you, there's too much marketing in that deal. And
well, I don't think it's the marketing though, because look, we've gone through this with the whole Ducati brand, right? Ducati brand is a premium brand. Ducati always sell every bike they make. There's no Ducatis left over at the end of a run that are just for stock. Did you know what I mean? They're not like they're.
I think they did last year. I must have found it, but it was only 1,000 machines or something like that.
Yeah, well, like okay, what I mean is like they're not stockpiling massive amount of bikes to sell. You know what I mean? They're so realistically, like I was watching a thing today about the McLaren W1. I think you should buy one, Jake.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I only buy 4 wheels. Yeah, I just put a dash cluster in my 2003 Windstar.
But like your man was saying with it, like there's only 399 of them being built, and they were all sold before anyone even fucking saw one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like 2 million each. You know what I mean? It's just like, but again. No,
if I was going to buy anybody, I'd buy, even as a business decision, I'd buy out MV Augusta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As a road bike thing, do a good benefit, good for them. CF Moto.
They probably will. Like it's like the
good promise for them for getting in for the tech, for the image.
It would, yeah, it would. And look, remember, CF Moto do own a portion of KTM, so.
Yeah, and they have, and now MV has a good reputation for reliability, which they finally let them off the hook for the the batteries being bad 40 years ago. You know.
Yeah. But look, it's interesting. I just think, I the more I think about like when the title starts to get close, like we're kind of everyone is kind of in agreement that next year is going to be a battle between Pecco and Marquez. There's not really going to be anyone else in the county. You know what I mean? They might be in the next county, but they're not going to be in the county of the championship.
Yeah, what was Martin within? He was within a second on the last test.
Yeah, look, like again, you see, you can't even put it there with the Aprilia, because we know the Aprilia runs great on its own. You put it into a fucking race situation, and it's not there. Do you know what I mean? But again, look, the first couple of courses that we have are courses where Aprilia are strong, so maybe, but I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to last. And like once we get into the midpoint of the season, I would expect it to be a Pecco and Mark show, and then Gigi can say all he wants, right? We know the way Mark is, and we also know the way Pecco is. You know what I mean? And Pecco does get very fucking cranky. Do you know what I mean? And Mark gets very fucking cranky. Huh?
Cranky?
Cranky. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And when they're 6, yeah. It's like go for a nap.
I'm tired.
Yeah. Gigi out with a fucking hammer. Then you are tired.
You're tired. Yes, you'll go. Come on, you're qualifying. Go to bed.
But I think it will just be very interesting to see how those two fire off each other. Do you know what I mean? And will they be able to keep it under control? And the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, I don't know. I don't like you put 2 alpha males into a fucking room, which Ducati have never really had before. Like, name 2 other riders that were top level riders that you saw Davide Tardazzi and Gigi Dall'Igna manage in the same team. Like Lynn Jarvis trying to manage Jorge Lorenzo and Valentino Rossi failed fucking miserably. You know what I mean? So I think it could be something like that over again by mid-season. That wall could start growing, whether Gigi wants it to or not. The foundations could be there, But yeah, I just thought it was going to be an interesting predicament. Let's just call it.
Oh, by the way, didn't the Ducati dirt bike win again? It's like the best dirt bike by far on the market.
It is. Apparently, it's one of, like I haven't.
What are they going to do next? Give them? I can see it now. I'm sorry, Ducati. You got to stop making better bikes than everybody else.
Start making worse.
You're too damn good.
Start making worse bikes. Yeah. You can imagine. It's
flying over here.
Yeah. And look, there's multiple rumors then flying around about Yamaha and the V4. Like, we do know the V4 is coming. The big question of it is when. Some are saying that it's not going to be ready in 2025. Some people are saying it's going to be ready in the start of 2025. Yamaha said that it's still on the bench, which I don't believe, because the way Alex Rins was talking, that it was almost ready to run on track. So, I think that's going to be kind of one of the big stories as well next year, is how can they get around it or get that on track and get that development underway, I suppose.
Nobody heard anything about it though. I was like, they were right. It did pretty good. Oh, they don't know what it was in there. When they were running the lap times, it's what was the last one? Sepang, right? Wasn't that doing pretty good?
Which?
The Yamaha. What were they running? Was that inline?
Oh, that was the inline. The last test that they did in Barcelona, that was the inline.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't the. It wasn't the. It wasn't the V. So, but look, it will be interesting to see when they do get that out and running, because look, a decision is needed from what way they go for 2026 or 2027. So, it will be pretty interesting. Yeah, but I think that's about that is about it for me. I think. Was there something else I wanted to talk about?
No, nothing I can think of. We covered everything I can think of.
Oh, I think Rossi's missus had a baby as well, actually, today.
Oh,
number 2.
okay.
I think.
I thought,
So
he
he was busy.
Time.
Huh?
Must have made no time. Had
That's
a private room in the hospital last time.
That's it. Yeah. So anyway, and that bombshell. Look, sure, we'll wrap it up for this week. Thank you very much, Jakey Poo. First one of 25 done. And we will look for. We'll be back again next week, and
we have another guest coming, right? Hopefully.
Yes. I'm meant to. I'm terrible at emailing back. Well, actually, kind of took a couple of days, a week off or so. But yes, I must get El Capitan on. And look, if you are interested, you just reach out to MotoGP Mac at gmail.com, and I will get back to you if you would like to come on. But on that, we will.
He's a shoe-in being an Aprilia fan.
Being an Aprilia fan, yes. Well, we all love our old little dirty Aprilias.
Yes.
And I must just say that I walked into a pub there on Friday the 27th. A pub that I haven't been in I would say, about 25 years.
Okay.
And on the wall, and it's in the WhatsApp group, Jake. You can have a look at it. On the wall of the pub was a photograph that I forgot all about. So when we were 17, 18, 19-ish, myself and my buddy used to race Suzuki RG 125 or 250s. I had a VJ21, which was the older one, and he had a VJ22. And we spent all our money, obviously, on the travel to the track. We slept in the van, and the van was cold. So we went to our local pub that we used to have a few scoops in, and we asked her would she sponsor us. And she used to sponsor us a slab of beer each for the weekend. And in return, we took this picture with her name, with the name of the pub on the side of the bike. But that picture was nearly 30 years old now. And I walked into the pub, completely forgot about the picture, and there was the picture still on the wall nearly 30 years later.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. That must be cool.
No, I was like, oh, you fucking, I'm old. Anyway, on that bombshell, we'll wrap up today's one.